Good evening from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well today, sending loads of love as usual. Talking about many questions over the last months, and loads of you, Imi, you, a lot of you asking me about the Birmingham, what I saw, what I know from ancient history. Uncle Yummy takes it right back to the very top when he met the early Brummies. We're talking about Pat Lemothy. He done he had a 30 wreck. I think he was innocent, but he used to do block to block in the ACATs in Parkhurst. When I touched the Isle of Wight in the early days, Charlie and him were down there in Parkhurst and Albany when I was doing that little squeeze there when I was a little child, and he was proper stuff. Pat Lemothy. I don't know whatever happened to him. Many of you from Birmingham might know. One of the other greatest Brummies I ever met was Tucker Lynch, with that family down there as well. Heavy down there. But that time when Pat Lemothy was down there in the Isle of Wight, down there with Pat Lemothy, because they used to do a lot of block before they went to the CSU or the SSU, whatever they call it, the control units and that kind of stuff, when Charlie, in fact, Bronson, one of the greatest of all time in Uncle Yammy's history books, it has to be said, during that life. And then Charlie thought they were bullying me when I was 20 and came out of his cell and started swinging. I know, I said, Charlie, I was shouting through the door, leave it. But he just went into them all. So that is a famous story as well. Charlie Bronson, my boy, no matter what, Charlie, always and forever. All right, my son. Hope to see you soon. But yeah, Pat Lemothy, if you want to go back in ancient history, those with Birmingham as it is now, with the burgers and Johnnies and all the sadness that's gone with that life and the loss of life over bollock and absolute shit. Uncle Yummy has to report today and what he saw and who he liked and who he rated and who he thought represented Birmingham in that life, if you get what I mean. Because I've got to answer the questions sometimes. I answer them as the best I can, who I met, who I saw. But yes, I did meet everybody that was anybody that was ever had to have been met from Birmingham. And that's facts. Johnson, Burgers, whatever side you was on, Uncle Yummy had interactions with all of you. That's fair to say. I even had to take a little punch off someone from Birmingham and had to sit down in my pants. We know about that one on the football pitch already. But when you look back in the history books, Uncle Yummy tells you clinically that who he believes was the greatest Brummie that he ever met in his whole life, who he loves wholeheartedly and dearly. And that's a fact. I don't know if he's around now. I don't know what's happened. I'm not in contact with them. But all I will say is what I saw. And I will tell you, Tricks, Johnny's, rest in peace, sad ending there. Loved you, my boy, proper soldier. Pure problems with us as a young you coming to the Cat A's, represented fully in that life, sadly, succumbed to that life as well, which many do, sadly as well. China still rotting away there, in there. I was there for that big fight with them two on the Cat A pitch. I've told you about that one already. And then we talk about 2-3, 00, Chunky and E-Man. What a problem that E-Man, he is one serious geezer, I'll tell you that. But my favourite, obviously, Uncle Yummy tell you, out of the youngster crew, would have been Chunky, Gregory, whatever his name is. I can't remember too much, but I loved him dearly. A very quiet man. I'm doubts over his case as well. I'm not sure about that, but I'm not fit enough to comment. There's too many people out there that have been harmed by that that episode with that crowd in Birmingham, if you get what I mean. But yeah, Chunky, I did love you dearly. My boy TG as well, I did love you dearly as well. I remember that day when I went in on my man downstairs, Turk. You was at the door. I rapped him. You come, you said, Uncle Yummy, I can't believe you rapped him so much. And when I went upstairs, you remember, T, I walked upstairs onto the twos and I was doing a riot. And then I walked in and there was somebody else there who's on YouTube right now. And he started backing away. And he said to me, oh shit, Yummy, I thought you was coming for me as well. I thought it was the final stand. Say no more. We'll leave that one. Won't say nothing. But yep, there's a lot of love there for all of you lot. And of course, I have to mention the great Bosie as well. And Godzilla as well. I don't know what sides everybody's on. I lost count of it all, if you get what I mean. But those, Bosie, represented it no matter what, he upset me a few times. I can't look back in my life and think I'm upset with somebody because they upset me at certain times and we fell out during that life. Uncle Yummy ain't on that right now. But one thing I know with Bosie, he was a proper handful. Godzilla, wow. If you look at Sharphead, but Shots and Benaiah, wow. That Benaiah, where did he get that superhuman strength from? But yet I'm hearing the one I met before, Shots in Whitemore, was stronger than your brother. I can't believe it, because if you're as strong as that, what I saw, you are seriously, seriously strong. If you get what I mean. Uncle Yummy gives it to you straight. But for me, out of everyone that I ever met from the Midlands, the greatest of all time would have to be CU. And I'd have to give it to Courtney N. No matter what, the politics, anything around it all, I don't give a toss. I will tell you straight as I see it. And Courtney, CU, was the greatest. If you want to have one of those, cane row, and he fits the criteria as well. He looks the part and everything, but so humble, so cool, so loving, so helpful. One of the greatest prisoners that you could get along with from Birmingham of all time. And I love that kid. I ain't had no contact with him since I've been out. I hope to see him one day. I heard he's doing well now. He's going straight and everything, and I wish him well. But me personally, I saw him match up with the greatest fighters of all time, like sparring. And I used to see certain things and I used to think, all of you lot, it would be a hard one, if you get what I mean. That's what I saw. Uncle Yummy reports today that it looked like in the plaything, he was as good as the rest. But hey, what do I know? And I'll just tell you that straight. But for me, he stands out alone. And he weren't no troublemaker or nothing. He never picked no fights. He never done nothing. I even question his guilt on certain things. I got to be honest. You know, Uncle Yummy tell you exactly how it was. You can't picture certain man doing certain things when you get to know them, when you're me, especially when you live the life that I had and seen everybody that was ever had to be met in that life. Sad, sad case to Johnny's Burgers. So much life lost for nothing. Leave it alone. War's dead. It was over nothing. Forget about it all. It doesn't mean a thing. There's many men rotting in there now wishing that they were out, that they never played a part or they never had their name called in anything. But I see certain things along the years that made me see that gang life and that whatever it causes along the years. Uncle Yummy has to report today that he's very, very sad that certain people have lost their life and certain people have to do time for it. And some people are doing time they shouldn't even be doing time. I don't get it, you know what I mean? The balancing of scales, how people can sit behind screens and that kind of stuff and talk and you can't even see who they are. Imagine that happening to you and you're trying to find out who it is talking, but they limit the voice and all that kind of stuff. Deep, deep stuff, but I won't get into all that because I wasn't there. I don't know. So who am I really to say anything? But I tell you one thing, CU, Courtney N, one of the greatest Birmingham men that I ever met. And of course, I forgot to mention way back in the day, Popeye, the great old school Popeye, 6 foot odd, and what's his name? Francis, is that his name? And they had that straightener and the cat A's, and he slipped. Francis, and he said, yeah, I slipped though, but really it was the great Birmingham 2 meeting. I can't remember the other guy's name. So you lot been asking me, Uncle Yummy delivers. That's my opinion. My opinion is the greatest Brumie that ever lived, that I ever bumped to in that life, for all skills and all walks and all survival skills, was Courtney. Courtney N, CU. Uncle Yummy, give it to you straight. Bigging you all up, sending loads of love.